What's up, friends? Welcome back to the channel. I want to kick off this review by jumping back in time, so buckle up while I fire up this time machine and take us back to one of the greatest chapters in gaming, the PlayStation 2 era. Part of what made the PS2 so special, at least for me, were all the iconic mascot platformers that came out of it. Games like Ratchet & Clank, Jak and Daxter, and my personal favorite, Sly Cooper. These games mix action, platforming, and semi-open worlds full of humor and personality. I absolutely loved them, but the one thing most of them lacked was co-op. Revenge of the Savage Planet feels like it's straight out of that era, with its colorful worlds, goofy humor, and laid-back third-person gameplay. And the best part is, this one actually supports both online and local two-player co-op. So, snapping back to the present, does Revenge of the Savage Planet stand alongside the greats, or is it one best left in the past? Let's find out.
Watch out with that sludge is bad.
Wait, look at this little guy here. It's a Bazingas. Oh, have you already got this guy?
Oh, no, I haven't.
Like a tiny
God,
gray
so
alien, but more of a white than gray. That's awesome.
Bazingas. He's so cute. I love him.
Oh my god. Oh god.
Wait, he just pops and there's so much pus inside. Oh,
I didn't mean to run it over, even though I said I was gonna run it over.
I swear I didn't mean to. Unarguably, the coolest part of Revenge of the Savage Planet is that it's a semi-open world that somehow supports not just online two-player co-op, but local two-player co-op too for both PS5 and Xbox Series consoles and PC. On top of that couch co-op, it also is fully cross-play when online. That freedom of choice in 2025 is basically unheard of. Playing online was super easy for us. Gabe just sent me a Steam invite after selecting online co-op in the menu and we were in. The catch is that since it's hosted on his save, I couldn't access the world solo. We'd always need to return together. It would have been nice to make progress on my own time in a shared world, but hey, we'll take what we can get. That said, second player agency is fantastic. Anything Gabe could do as host, I could do too. Even better, the upgrade path is shared, so when I hop back into his world, my character was exactly how I left him. Now, full transparency, we played online, so I can't speak to how it runs in local split-screen co-op. We did run into a few bugs, and I experienced some rubber banding as the second player. That's where your character bounces back and forth a bit before the action catches up. It wasn't game-breaking, and to be fair, this isn't a high-precision platformer or twitchy shooter. It's a pretty laid-back game, but it happened often enough that it's worth flagging, especially if you're someone who gets annoyed by performance hiccups. For us, it didn't ruin the vibe, just a small part of an otherwise smooth experience. With that out of the way, let's get into the gameplay loop.
Okay.
Got it.
Nice. Yeah, how are you doing it? Do you just like hold it?
You gotta hold it until you're lassoing and then kind of like let it go just right on top of them.
Okay, I see.
You gotta like really make sure you got the full lasso going. Stop it, bro. Stop it. We've done what we need to do. Oh god. Oh god. Oh, look at its tongue.
Oh god.
Oh, I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all.
Oh my god, did you see its ragdoll physics? Revenge of the Savage Planet is best described as an action-adventure comedy with a Metroidvania structure. That's how Raccoon Logic, the team behind the game, pitches it, and after nearly 10 hours, I'd say that's spot on. You play as an unlucky employee stranded on a distant planet after being laid off by a shady corporation. Thus begins your return journey to Earth as you traverse 5 different planets in search of gear, upgrades, and answers to some of the mysteries behind your former employer. Now, the story isn't sadly deep, it leans hard into satire, full of weird characters and absurd humor. Whether that works for you will really depend on your taste, but we'll come back to that later. You start the game with pretty much nothing, not even a gun, just you and your little flying robot buddy. But soon enough, you'll set up a home base and start venturing out on missions. Most of the time, that means heading to a new section of the planet, jumping, swinging, and swimming your way there, only to realize you're missing a tool or upgrade to keep going. Classic. Luckily, you've got a 3D printer back home. To get that upgrade, you'll need to either gather specific materials or capture some exotic wildlife. Capturing creatures is its own song and dance. You've got to scan them first to find their weak spot, hit it, stun them, and then lasso them in before they bounce. Once your science computer finishes researching the critter, you get your upgrade and can finally head back and push forward. Of course, along the way you'll find side quests, hidden upgrades, and light puzzles that reward you for poking around. You can even unlock teleporters to help you traverse each planet quickly. Once you've wrapped up all your objectives, each planet ends with a big boss fight before sending you off to the next world. You actually don't spend too much time in each planet unless you're choosing to, of course, and you'll be back before you know it as you unlock new pathways with the tools you acquire from other worlds. While the formula stays pretty consistent, exploring a brand new planet never stops being fun. Each biome feels handcrafted and packed with an impressive variety of creatures. That's the core structure, but how well does it actually come together? Let's dig into that.
65, bro. We're almost there. 69, bro. Nice.
Nice.
Okay, wait. Nice. Okay, we're good.
80.
Dude, I do not like the like flaming hot Cheeto
I know you
juice.
You really gotta watch out for the flaming hot Cheeto juice. All right, we did it. I don't know. 100.
Nice.
Let's go, dude.
This is awesome.
Yeah,
I love a nice little cartridge. Cool.
We're going to a new planet.
Call down the Nets fates at the colony base from orbit. Nice. Let's go.
Wow, look at us.
Look at us.
I think it's important to keep one thing in mind when we're talking about what works and what doesn't with Savage Planets co-op. This is clearly a single-player game that supports co-op, not a co-op game by design. So every mechanic from combat to puzzles to traversal has to function solo first. That means there aren't many systems that specifically reward cooperative play. And yet, it's honestly better with a friend. Take exploration, the best part of the game. You're dropped onto an alien planet, given a waypoint, and told to make your way there. Simple enough, but you're constantly going to get sidetracked. Maybe you see a weird creature to scan, a puzzle behind a waterfall, or a combat encounter begging for you to conquer. That sense of discovery is only enhanced when you've got a buddy doing the same thing, finding distractions, calling out secrets, or stumbling into a side path that you might have missed. We rarely made it straight from point A to point B. We always had to stop and go, wait, what is over there? Another co-op win in this game is the Metroidvania style progression. As you gain gadgets and traversal upgrades, you'll frequently have those aha moments, like remembering a wall you couldn't scale back on the first planet, but now you can. And when you've got two brains remembering different things, you'll double your chances of finding new gear, upgrades, or cosmetics. We'd even split up entirely and just follow our own curiosity across the map. It felt really freeing and like something that wasn't possible even 5 years ago in games that looked this good. Granted, there were those bugs that I've talked about, and certainly performance was never perfect, but we didn't really mind that. So yeah, Savage Planet isn't built around co-op, but it still plays really well in co-op, except for a few areas where it doesn't quite live up to that, but I'll let Gabe tackle that one.
As we've laid out, Savage Planet is built on three main pillars: exploration, light puzzle solving, and combat. And unfortunately, combat is where co-op play stumbles. We haven't talked much about it, which is kind of telling. For starters, you only get one gun throughout the entire campaign, and while you can upgrade it a bit, it mostly feels the same. To make matters worse, your tiny blaster simply doesn't feel great to use. Sure, you unlock some extra moves like a dodge and a stomp, but most combat encounters end up feeling tedious at best. There's not much incentive to actually coordinate with your co-op partner, no combo moves, no synergy between your tools, nothing that really rewards teamwork. The lack of synergy between tools felt like an obvious missed opportunity. While boss fights were a highlight overall, they too felt undercooked in co-op. Since the game needs to work solo, it was often easy for one player to do most of the work and bring the boss down on their own. Now, Andrew and I are used to more complex combat systems, so maybe we're not the target audience here. There's definitely a player who might be fine with this level of simplicity, and that really leads us to the big question as we wrap up: who is this game actually for?
What Gabe alluded to just now is something we realized about halfway through the experience. We might not be the target audience for Revenge of the Savage Planet, but our 5th grade selves, they would have absolutely loved this. The combat, the exploration, the puzzles, they're all relatively simple, but that's kind of the point. The game delivers everything in a smooth, short, colorful package that leans hard into 5th grade level humor. And yeah, we chuckled at a few jokes, but overall the tone was a bit much for two guys in their 30s. Watching a cartoonishly large guy scarf down a burger and get slimed doesn't hit the same part of my brain it might have 15 or 20 years ago. And yet, I kind of love Savage Planet for that exact reason. I wish I could pack it into a time machine and send it to a younger version of myself. I imagine playing this with a younger gamer, whether that's a sibling, a kid, a niece, or a nephew, would be a fantastic experience. As Gabe mentioned in our intro, it captures the vibe of a bygone era of 3D platformers packed with collectibles, silly distractions, and colorful worlds. From the overall art style to the Looney Tune-esque animations, this is what I would imagine those PS2 games would look like if they existed in 2025. So huge compliment there. Even if we weren't the target audience, Gabe and I enjoyed our time here. It was just the right length, had really solid pacing, and didn't overstay its welcome. We definitely recommend it, especially if you fall into one of those sweet spot demographics. But even if you don't, Revenge of the Savage Planet still delivers a good time.
Thanks for watching, guys. We cover all things co-op games here, previews, reviews, and even news via our co-op monthly series. So if you want to stay in the know, make sure you subscribe and follow us on our socials. If you want to support us, check out our Patreon where we give you first impressions of games via our Patreon exclusive series, Play and Banter. Thank you to those already supporting us there. We'll catch you next time on another episode of The Co-op Bros.